Did the Thanagarians really think this through? Hi! This is a redo of a previous video. In the Justice League cartoon, the episode's titled Starcrossed, the Thanagarians plan.
For decades, the Gordanian homeworld has been protected behind an impregnable defensive line. But this chain of hyperspace bypasses will allow our armadas to jump behind their defenses and make a direct assault on the heart of their empire.
It sounds like a great idea on paper. Problem is, once the devices are turned on, each planet will collapse into itself, killing whatever's on it and eventually disappearing altogether.
For Thanagar to live, Earth must die.
First, what would be the effects? Every planet in the solar system affects each other to the point that if we accidentally obliterated Pluto, it'd throw our entire solar system out of whack, causing a domino effect. Death from insane temperature shifts and planetary cracking would happen within minutes. This is actually a major plot point in the Blackest Night episodes.
See anything wrong with this picture?
Where do I start? The loss of life, the echoes of our own pasts?
No, not up there. Down here.
It can't be.
But it is. This moon is still orbiting a planet which doesn't exist.
It should have flown off into space the moment the planet was destroyed.
But it didn't, did it?
Now, how many systems would they be wrecking? In the length of planets, they have 7. It's not specified on how many have lives on them. Because Pluto is a lot smaller than Earth, it wouldn't have as strong as effect. But this is Earth we're talking about. It's a medium-sized planet with billions of people on it. We're shown 4 mediums, 2 smalls, and 1 giant. For each planet that's destroyed, that solar system plus any systems nearby will be destroyed by gravitational shifts. It's unclear if they picked a planet near their homeworld as a starter point. If they did, then anyone on their homeworld would die pretty quickly, leaving only the ones on ships or other worlds just barely alive. If they didn't, then they're left unharmed as long as the planet they're using is far enough away, like 3 solar systems away. Their fleet would also have to be quite a distance away from the bypass's mouth once it opens so as to not have their armadas get torn to shreds by those same gravitational shifts. So far, not a great plan. There are 7 billion people on Earth alone. Similar numbers would be on other planets, not to mention that some of the solar systems might have more than one planet with life on it. Considering the number of species, it's not that hard to imagine. Because of the death toll it would create, the Thanagarians would be hunted down by most lanterns, bounty hunters, manhunters, and survivors seeking revenge. They would get hunted to extinction as punishment, and their name would be seen as something to hate. Because they're a warlust people, their own scientists can't see what it is they're doing. They would wipe out their enemies only to find that they've made more. If they had discussed this with other people's scientists, they would have learned of the effects it would have caused and changed the plan. But no, Thanagarians are war-hungry idiots who want to do everything themselves.
This technology is amazing. How does it work?
The circuits utilize nth metal, an element with properties you couldn't begin to understand.
Which properties wouldn't I understand? The hyperconductivity or the meson graviton inversion?
Sure, their plans get set back 5 years, but at least it saved everyone in the long run.
That bypass was our last hope. Without it, we were helpless against our enemies. Because of you, the Thanagarian Empire lost the war. After you and the Justice League destroyed the bypass, our fleet was ordered back to Thanagar. By the time we exited hyperspace, the Gordanians had already begun their final assault on our homeworld. In their minds, the war was over, but not for Talak. He single-handedly destroyed a dozen of the enemy battleships, more. But finally the battle was lost. Of our entire fleet, only Talak's ship remained. He ordered us into a scout ship. We barely made it out. With his final breath, he destroyed the Gordanian flagship. Too little, too late. The war was already lost.
The only people who would protect them from extinction would be the Indigo Lanterns, because their compassion would make them see that they've suffered enough. Everyone in the galaxy would need to relearn how to survive in the twisted mess the Thanagarians made. Things like mixed species would rise, as some people wouldn't have enough of their own kind to repopulate. Of the humans, only Guy, Hal, Kyle, and possibly Adam Strange would be left. So purebred humans would go extinct when those four died. New worlds would have to be found to terraform in order to rebuild. Mogo, the living planet, will offer himself as a new home while rescuing people who don't have the technology to leave or stabilize their dying one. More space stations would also be built in order to help. Another possibility would be an extreme influx of Blue Lanterns to stabilize their homeworlds, but even that would be few and far between. The Thanagarians would be worse than their enemies if their plan hadn't been stopped. As they lost so many of their numbers in the war, they became so obsessed with wiping out their enemies, they couldn't see the bigger picture.
For generations, we on Thanagar have been locked in a bloody war with these monsters.
It's like the time we dropped an atom bomb for the first time on Hiroshima. Thank you. We knew it was going to wipe out a large amount of our enemies, but we didn't realize how bad it was going to be, partly why we haven't done it since. The Thanagarians' plan would have been so much worse, as it would have taken quintillions of lives instead of just millions. At what point does the cost become too high? It's hard to side with the Thanagarians because of basic science. They would have been the most hated species in the entire universe, where erasing their existence would have been seen as a mercy. They could have saved themselves and ended the war in their favor if they just asked for help. And that's what we got. Bye! Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Don't be rude to me. Bye!